So without further ado, let us go to the Zoom machine and say hello to Mr. Joe Lauzon, who I think was just talking to the media. There he is, Joe. I was getting worried because I was getting notes that you were at the press conference. I was like, did Joe double book me here? Is he stabbing me in the back? What's going on?
They reorganized my schedule like last minute. I got done with my photos like really fast and some of my interview stuff really fast. Like, oh, you're into the media thing? And like, oh, we got like 13 minutes. I'm like, yeah, that'll be enough time. And it wasn't. We needed like 17 or 18 minutes.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Joe, great to talk to you as always. And I won't keep you long. It's great to see you back. Man, you missed the whole pandemic era. You just said, you know what? I'm not doing this empty arena thing. Was that done on purpose?
100% on purpose. I had no interest at all in trying to fight during all stuff. Cause like, you know, if I was going to fight again, I did not want it to, you know, have a fight get scrapped because like one of my coaches tested positive for COVID or I did, or, you know, or an opponent tested positive. It's just, there was too much up in the air. It's like too much of a gamble in my opinion. Like I didn't need to fight again. So if I was going to fight again, it had to make sense.
Did they even offer you fights and you said, nah, I don't want to do this in empty arenas?
So Sean Shelby texted me. He's like, hey, like, I have to offer you fights because of my contract. I'm like, okay, like, well, I don't want to fight at all right now during the pandemic stuff. I'm like, so you offered me the fight, so that's okay. I'm not going to fight right now, but keep sending me names because I'm definitely interested in trying to, you know, fight again. So they did not send me any names. Oh. He's asked me if I wanted to fight. I told him no. And then I get an extension letter from the UFC like, oh, you have denied a fight. You'll be extended, which I don't care. I'm not going anywhere else. I want to fight for the UFC. And then back like this time last year, was when I started pressing Sean Shelby like, hey, look, I heard you guys are coming to Boston. If you're coming to Boston, you know, this fall, you know, I want to be on the card. He's like, we're not coming to Boston. I'm like, I'm just saying, if you're coming to Boston, I want to be on the card. He's like, we're not coming to Boston. I'm like, I'm okay. Just if it happens, let me know. And I didn't hear anything until I talked to Sean Shelby a couple of times. But then, you know, in like February, they offered me Cowboy from March. And I'm like, I like the idea of fighting Cowboy, but not that soon. A little too fast. I don't want a 4-week camp. But, you know, it's been 2 years. Let's not go from 2 years off to a 4-week camp. So I told him, you know, if we do a little later, I'm in. So this is what we have.
Was there any point where you were like, it's been 2 years, maybe this is it, maybe I'm done? I ended in Boston, I got a tremendous win. Like that's kind of the storybook ending because so much time had passed. Was there any thought in your mind being like, you know what, maybe this is a good way to go out?
Yeah, no, I definitely thought about it, you know, but like I'm in a situation where I don't have to fight. Right. Like, I think that sometimes guys, like they retire and then they come back because they need a way to make money. They're not, you know, doing as well as they would like. But I have a great gym in Rainham, Massachusetts. We moved during the pandemic, which was pretty sketchy and pretty scary. We went from like a smaller gym to a much bigger gym, you know, more expensive, everything else, but like we're crushing it there now. So I love teaching kids. I love teaching adults, you know, so like, I'm not in a position where I had to fight, you know, I'm in a position where like, okay, I'm in a good spot where I'm able to entertain offers and ideas. And if I like, you know, the opponent, I like the date, I like the location, then I have no problem fighting because I love to train and I love to do jiu-jitsu and I love to fight. So you know, we're going to fight on Saturday and then I'll probably be in the same boat, right? It's like, you know, maybe we're fighting again, maybe we won't. I just will kind of, you know, play it by ear and see how it goes.
So there's no chance you do the whole, like, I'm taking the gloves off thing. You're not down with that?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. Not at this point. That's not where my headspace is right now. You know, there could be something that happens in the fight and they're like, you know, and maybe I'll change my mind. But as of now, I do not think you'll ever see me dropping the gloves in the cage. I know that some people like they know that it's going to be their last fight and they go and they do that. But I don't think you'll see that out of me.
That being said, there could be a possibility that this is the last time you fight, right? That is a possibility.
It could, 100%, of course. Yeah, I think that you'd say the same thing for Cowboy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how many. You know, Cowboy could be the last fight for both of us. Could be the last fight for neither one of us. We could have like a banger of a fight and have a rematch in 6 months. Who the hell knows? I have no idea. But we'll see.
Have you ever been close to fighting Cowboy in the past? It is pretty remarkable that you guys have never fought each other, considering how long you've both been in the UFC.
I don't think so. I think that there was maybe one time where like there was talk about it maybe happening, but it was like on super short notice. It was like on like a 2 weeks notice or 10 days notice or something like that. And that was like, this is back in like the Joe Silva days.
Wow.
And I think I'm like, nope, not fighting that guy in 10 days. Like, you know, I would prefer an entire camp. He would be more than happy to take 10 days and take a fight. Different kind of ideas on taking fights, you know, and, you know, to go and let him do a full camp and me do 10 days, I thought was not the best.
Considering the layoff, though, your body must feel great, right? I mean, I know you just went through a training camp, but no fights in a long period of time. Like, is this one of the best you have, fights or fight weeks you have felt in quite some time?
Yeah, I mean, my wife keeps telling me like, you've been in such a better mood because I'm not so beat up. I'm much healthier than I would typically be. Normally it's like, where you're fighting a couple of times a year, you go through a training camp, you accumulate some new injuries, you rest a little bit, and things don't really get better. And then you go back and you do it again. This time I was like, okay, I've had a lot of time off. I didn't know that I was definitely going to fight again. So I was able to, I wasn't like giving myself a hard time. Like, oh, you have to get ready for this. I was like, no, I let things heal, let things get better, pay attention to my body a little bit better. It's been good.
Is there, I feel like there's like a weird mix going on here with you because you've had the long layoff 2.5 years, but also you're reaching the end. So there's this weird mix of like, oh, you're back and it's so great to be back. But I would imagine maybe a little nostalgia as well because you are this could be the last time you go through a fight week with the UFC and whatnot. So can you describe those emotions, that concoction going on inside of you?
So this is the trap, right? This is the trap that most fighters fall into, right? It's like they have a good fight or two good fights. They think, oh, I'm back. Let's go. I'm gonna fight for this world title. I'm gonna dominate. This division's mine, right? And then reality sets in, right? They have a fight that doesn't go so well. Like, oh, it's like back to where they were, So, I'm very happy with my preparation for this fight camp. I'm very happy with the opponent. I think it's going to be a really good, exciting fight. I'm very, very happy to be back with the UFC and seeing everyone and being the fighter this week and all this other stuff. Like, I'm happy about all that. But reality will set in when they close that cage door. And now it's either I'm going to win or I'm going to lose. I'll be relieved when the fight's over regardless. That part will be nice. But we'll take it one fight at a time, right? We're going to do this fight. Maybe this fight goes great. Maybe this fight doesn't go great, but we'll see how it goes. And, we'll make an educated decision after the fact. I hate emotional decisions. Mm-hmm. I hate it. Like when I said it for my last fight in Boston, like, I'm not saying this is my last fight, but I'm also not saying that I'm coming back or whatever. I just, we just take it, fight by fight, moment by moment, and we see how it goes.
All right. So you have this opportunity against Cerrone. This is kind of a dream fight, if you will. And I love the fact that they're not putting you in there against, a younger guy that they're trying to build his name off of yours, right? Is that part of the appeal as well, that you're fighting kind of a peer here and both of you are at the same point in your lives?
100%. It's like, I think it's very comparable, right? He's fought at welterweight a little bit more. So I think he's gonna be a little bit bigger than me. But I've taken very little damage in the last like 2.5 years, right? I haven't fought. I've been spar. Like I've had a couple little like nagging things that happen in the course of training, but like nothing serious. I feel like I'm in a good spot. We're both similar in age. He's a little older than me. We both had a ton of fights. It's a very even playing field all the way around, and maybe I win, maybe I lose, but it's a very, very fair fight. It's very different when you're, 37 trying to fight a kid that's like 22 and like been training since he was 6 and is, like his peak physical shape, his prime shape, and, world champion jiu-jitsu and this crazy kickboxing and everything else. And like, it has no other, obligations. We both got kids, we both have families, we both have other things going on than just fighting, So, I think it's a very fair, comparable kind of situation. I think it will lead to a really good, evenly balanced fight.
By the way, originally, wasn't this fight supposed to happen April 30th? And was the reason it was moved because you didn't want to fight in the empty Apex?
Yes. Yep. 100%. So
wow.
I didn't want to fight there and I was bummed about it a little bit, but I didn't hate it so much, but I got a call from Cowboy. He's like, hey bro, he's like, I'm not telling you to stop training. He's like, but I'm telling you that we're definitely not fighting at the Apex on April 30th. He's like, he's like, I fought at the Apex. It sucks with no fans. It's just not the same. Like if we're gonna fight, we should be in front of fans. We're both fan favorites. We should be fighting in front of fans. And I agree with everything he said. So at that point, I started kind of leaning on Shelby a little bit. I'm sure he leaned a lot heavier than me. But we got to move to 11.
Wow. So he actually called you to tell you this?
Yeah. Yep.
That is amazing.
Of course, like I accept the fight and like, we don't hear where it's going to be right away.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's going to be somewhere in the United States. I'm like, okay, where? Like, well, I'm like, is it, Vegas? Is it likely going to be the Apex? Like, no, it's not going to be the Apex. Well, we think it's not going to be the Apex. And we're trying to do cards, other places. I'm like, okay, that's good. And then we get an email like say a Wednesday or Thursday night saying, oh, here's your stuff. You have to book travel for the UFC at Apex on April 30th. And I'm like, oh, damn. That sucks a little bit. I didn't want to fight the Apex. And then right away I get a call from him, like, within a couple hours, like, dude, he's like, we're not doing it at the Apex.
I love that. I love that you guys banded together.
I feel like if there's ever a time when two veteran fighters can kind of throw their weight around a little bit, this is probably the time.
Absolutely. By the way, Joe Lauzon on OnlyFans. Never thought I'd see the day. Well done. How about that? What are we offering up on OnlyFans?
Nothing different than Instagram or Facebook or anything else. Like,
oh, that's a good pitch right there.
The entire thing is, so my manager, yeah, right. I know. So my manager basically approached me. He's like, hey, like if you want to post on OnlyFans, and I'm like, I'm not posting on OnlyFans. And then like my wife is like, we can get a patio. She wants a patio. So we're basically posting on OnlyFans so we get a patio.
Okay.
But it's literally, it's all good jiu-jitsu content. So we do all of our fight week vlogs and all that kind of stuff. And like, those are a little bit more like a polished thing. Like my guy, Brandon, does a great job. He'll literally record everything today. He'll edit it all up and then we'll post a thing on my YouTube, like a video. So we've done that for like all my fights. So, but I think for the OnlyFans, we'll start doing some like blooper kind of stuff and some stuff that, we didn't include in the actual vlog and more stuff like that. So I think it'll be good. And we'll have like, I'm supposed to do it for like the next like 6 months. I'm supposed to post on there. So we'll have tons of content from this week and, previous fight camps, things like that. So we'll post all that stuff. And I've got all my sparring footage. Like I record every single sparring session. So I was thinking we might, I wouldn't do it before the fight, but maybe after the fight, we'll post a couple like unedited full sparring sessions. Cause I think that a lot of people don't ever get to see that. So I think that would be kind of fun.
I love it. All right. I told you I'd let you go at 10:30. I will let you go, Joe. You're the man. Great to see you back. Good luck on Saturday. And what a fun fight. And I love the fact that you guys banded together and put this in front of the fans, because it would have been a crime if you guys were fighting in an empty Apex.
Yeah, so it's way better. It's way better. I'm happy about it.
Appreciate it.
Good adjustment.
Good luck to you, Joe.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you, man. Take care.
Good talking to you. Thanks.
There he is, Joe Lauzon.